All right, today we're going to teach you how to make our sweet orange focaccia recipe with our Aunt Bee's holiday sauce. So we're making this the night before, so this is an overnight focaccia recipe. In our bowl, we have 4 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 2 teaspoons of yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm gonna stir that together really quick. Mix our dry ingredients together. And then instead of warm water to activate the yeast, we're going to use orange juice. I've already heated this up. This is 2 cups of orange juice. So the orange juice is really going to add a lot of flavor. This is a sweet focaccia recipe rather than your normal savory focaccia. This is one of the easiest bread recipes I've found. I was kind of intimidated by focaccia originally because it just sounds kind of fancy and possibly difficult, but it's really not that hard. So you mix this together until it forms a dough. You don't want to really over mix it, but you want to make sure it's like kind of more of a sticky dough, all the flour's incorporated. So once that's to the point where you feel good about that dough, it's getting there. You're going to cover it with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Focaccia likes olive oil. That's something that you can't really, you probably could overdo it, but you're going to have a harder time overdoing it. So I'm actually not going to measure out the olive oil here. I'm just going to kind of drizzle it over, and then we'll cover it with either plastic wrap, or if you have a beeswax wrap, that works as well. But we'll just kind of cover this dough with our olive oil. Then we're going to set it in the fridge overnight for 8 to 12 hours. You can even go longer if you're not ready to bake it. But we'll show you the next step after we take it back out of the fridge. All right, so we've buttered our 9x13 pan, and we're actually gonna also pour about, I don't know, a tablespoon or more into the bottom of the pan. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our dough out of our bowl. We just took it out of the fridge. It's been in the fridge for a little over 12 hours now. And we're gonna flip it in the oil that we just put in the bottom of this pan. And I flip it and kind of stretch it out so it fits the shape of the pan. And then you're gonna let this rise again for 3 to 4 more hours. So we're gonna do the toppings when it's done with that 3 to 4 hour rise. So for now, we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna put a little bit of olive oil on top, just so it doesn't, when it rises, sometimes it will rise enough that it's gonna stick to that saran wrap or plastic wrap. So we wanna make sure it doesn't stick to that wrap. So I just used the same wrap that we had on the bowl overnight. And we're gonna cover that up and just leave it on the counter for 3 to 4 hours until it's doubled in size. And then we'll show you what to do next. Okay, so for this final step, you're gonna preheat your oven to 425, and then you have the option of doing like a brown sugar crumble on top. So what we're gonna do with this particular pan of focaccia is to do a brown sugar crumble on half of it, just to kind of show you how it would look with and without the crumble. So I've made a half batch, but in the on the recipe card on the link in the description, we will show you the whole brown sugar crumble optional part of the recipe. We're just gonna pour this butter on here. We want to leave it crumbly. We don't want to make it into like a dough. So I'm using a fork instead of a spoon. I'm trying to keep it crumbly. And then I'm actually going to put it in the fridge while we do our next part, because I don't want it to kind of become that dough that we were just talking about. We're going to take off our plastic wrap, and I actually put about half of our jar of Aunt Bee's holiday sauce and put it in the microwave for just a second, well, about 30 seconds. And just so it's a little easier to spread over our dough. So we're going to take this and just kind of spread it over, maybe drizzle it, whatever makes you happy. And we're going to, in just a second here, incorporate it into our dough with that classic kind of dimpling that you see with focaccia. So that's going to knock some of the air bubbles out of our dough and allow it to rise again when we bake it in the oven. So here's that holiday sauce that's going to give us that really yummy cranberry, orange, cinnamon, cloves, kind of Christmassy flavoring. It's going to sweeten it a little bit and just really enhance our focaccia. We're going to work this all the way through the dough, but we're only going to do, like we said, that brown sugar topping on the top, or one half of the dough. So we're going to work this in, make sure it gets in all of those little dimples as we knock out some of those air bubbles. Okay, let me grab that brown sugar real quick. So here's our brown sugar crumble. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle it over this one half of the loaf of focaccia. This just adds a little more sweetness to it, a little more, I think it enhances the flavor, but really it's totally up to you. It's very optional if you want to do that. So I'll sprinkle this on there, and then we're going to throw it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. So check it after 25, see what you think. See if you want a little more golden brown at that point. And then it's ready to serve. You can serve it warm. You can serve it the next day, like whatever's easiest for you. But this is definitely more of a dessert focaccia than anything else. So this is what it looks like right now before we bake it. And then we'll show you the final product. All right, so this is our final product. We have our Aunt Bee holiday sauce. This side has our brown sugar crumble on it, and it is ready to take to our family gathering for our dessert. And thanks for watching.